recognized symbol of excellence for your entertainment.
Jazz!
Welcome to Machino Music, the show that puts some music in Machino music, with your host, me, Brett Strong. Today on Machino Music, I'll be talking about some of my favorite jazz albums. That's right, jazz. That was stupid. Okay, here we go. I'm going to be talking about jazz, some of my favorite jazz albums. I'm gonna give you a little bit, maybe a bit of an ASMR experience here. I'm not gonna be shouting, hollering like a banshee, because we're talking about jazz. Even though some of this is more in the jazz fusion realm, which is a little bit more intense, but still, it's jazz. Have some chips here to add to the ASMR experience. That's noisy though. But anyway, let's get into this. Let's start with some Miles Davis. Actually, you've got two Miles Davis here. Kind of Blue, classic album. Talking with jazz with my mouth full. But I mean, this is a classic album. All-time great album. It's Miles Davis. Just the king of cool. I mean, this one is just you can put on, and it's just so great. I put on these albums like usually when I'm working. You don't want to heavy metal. You want to listen to punk. You want to listen to even sometimes a lot of pop music. It's just too, But sometimes just when I really want to get some work done, I put on these jazz albums. I have Bitches Brew. This is more of a fusion. But this is so good. And look at this guy. He's so cool. King of cool. Miles Davis. Yeah, we got the Weather Report next. Heavy Weather. This is my favorite Weather Report album. Again, more fusion, but still got some kind of smooth stuff in here. Yeah, just so good. Yeah, love that. I love that album cover too. The hat, the fedora, out in the rain. Yeah, love it. Here's an interesting one. This is a really odd one. I don't even know if I actually really, really like this album. I thought, what the hell, I'll talk about it. Sun Ra, Space is the Place. Now, I first heard of Sun Ra. It was on a Saturday Night Live Wayne's World special, which is actually how I got into a ton of music. It was this Wayne's World special called Wayne and Garth's Music A Go-Go. And it was just all the musical guests up to that point, which was 1993, who had appeared on Saturday Night Live. So it was a bit of everything. I got exposed to so much music, and that's what really started my passion to love all kinds of music. And Sun Ra, amazingly, in 1977, was on Saturday Night Live promoting this record, and I mean, I'd never seen anything like it, and then finally heard this album years later. This is a dusty son of a bitch, this one. But yeah, finally heard this album, and it exceeded my expectations in terms of being completely insane, but also I'm very mixed on it. But I will say it's one of my favorite jazz albums just because it's so different. But yeah, the title track, Space is the Place, is like 21 minutes long. So that's pretty much the entire album right there. But yeah, Images, Discipline, some of the shorter songs like those. Rocket Number 9. It's just all over the place jazz. I mean, if you like Miles Davis and all this, I mean, this is not Miles Davis. But yeah. Sun Ra. He had that big, he wore that like helmet, this like pharaohs and kind of stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I got in Sun Ra. Was the Saturday Night Live special, and it's an interesting album. Next, one of my all-time favorites, Herbie Hancock. I have a bunch of Herbie Hancocks, but I grabbed this one. Thrust. This one is probably my favorite. This is just great. There's only 4 songs on this. But they're all fairly long. But yeah, so good. Love this album. Because I love this album cover. Him on that spaceship. Approaching this big mountain. Yeah, really cool. Love me some Herbie Hancock. Also, one of the best afros of the 70s. I mean, Michael Jackson had a great afro. Natalie Cole had a fantastic afro. And let's throw in Dr. J. Julius Erving, basketball player. But you gotta have Herbie Hancock in there too for a fantastic afro. This I don't even know if should even be in here, but it's just, I had to include it because I don't know what else I would call it. Oysterhead. This is a super group made up of Stuart Copeland from The Police, Trey Anastasio from Fish, and the great Les Claypool from Primus, one of my all-time favorite bands. So yeah, this is just interesting. It's basically, it's you can call it jazz fusion, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, it's so different, but I would say let's call it jazz fusion. It's very experimental. It sounds like Primus, but there's also influences of, The Police and Fish, like their other bands. And yeah, it's great. I really enjoy this. And just like silhouettes of the guys in the back. Yeah, Oysterhead, The Grand Pecking Order. They've recently gone back out on tour, so maybe we'll get another album, because so far that's the only album they put out to date, and that was a few years ago. And next we got Al Di Meola. Fantastic guitar player. This is your fusion right here. He's got a few others that are fantastic, but I really like this one, Elegant Gypsy. You got Jan Hammer also on here. I mean, synthesizer legend. But yeah. I mean, the big song on here, Race with Devil on Spanish Highway. Fantastic song. I mean, he's a guitar player. I mean, ultimately a phenomenal guitar player. I mean, one of the all-time greats. One of my all-time favorite guitar players. He is so... And this album just has so much, like... It's like this... Here's in the back. It's like Spanish, like flamenco guitar playing. But it got jazz influences and rock influences. It is just like a phenomenal album. So good. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but it's just so good. And look how cool it is. I mean, like, just him looking all cool, and he's got this babe. Yeah, love it. Just a few vinyls. How about Passport, Infinity Machine? Got a few Passport albums. Handmade, Passing Through, and of course Cross Collateral. Some of my other favorites by them. But this one is it's more of a smoother jazz. This has some smoother jazz stuff in it, so you just want to put it on. You want to hear something want to kind of a bit more relaxing. You get that on Passport Infinity Machine. Guys are German. Yeah, German jazz fusion band. This album's from 1976. Yeah, I love it. Juju Man is just a funky, fun tune. Dig it. And I love this album cover. Really cool. Gonna have another chip before we move on here. I'm a slop. Want to drop out of my mouth? Okay. How about this? Really odd one in my collection. I always forget about this album, but glad I mention it. Rick James presents Bobby M. Blow. That album cover. I saw this as a kid, had no idea what the hell is this. And, I mean, look at that. I don't even understand it. It's supposed to be like, you know, she's giving a pipe job to the saxophone. But I know on the back, there's her lipstick on it, so she was going to town. Over my head as a kid. But this was, I mean, my mom actually got this. My mom was in the 80s part of the Columbia House Record Club, where they just send you a bunch of records, and most you don't even want. But my mom saw this and thought, oh, it's Rick James. My mom, for some reason, liked Rick James. No, oh, I got to get a Rick James record. And got this, and didn't like it. And I just sort of found it years later. And I listened to it, like, well, this is like a jazz fusion album. And it's got some smooth jazz on it, too. Love it. There's a few songs with some vocals. But really, I mean, there's some smooth, cool jazz on here. I mean, I love the title track, Blow. That is just, wow, so good. Charlie's backbeat, great. Redliner, yeah. So it's like Rick James, if any, is not on this at all, as far as I can see, even here in the liner notes. It's just a bunch of session people who were this band, Bobby M. Bobby Militello. An Italian getting it done here. But yeah. Great album cover. When I saw this, I think I just gotta check this out. What's this all about? This one I don't know if you can really call jazz, but I'm including, I just absolutely love this album. Ricky Lee Jones. Oh, so good. I mean, her big hit, and it's on this album, is Chucky's in Love, which is a great tune. Love that tune. It's more of a rock tune, but it's got... Chucky's in Love was her big hit, which is more of a rock tune. There's a little bit of kind of blues in here, but it feels like a jazz album. I mean, I put this on, and it's just like, I feel the same way I feel like when I just want to listen to jazz. Company is an absolutely beautiful song. Love that tune. You got Coolsville. Does it get any more jazz than that? That's a great song. On Saturday Afternoons in 1963. Another beautiful song. It's very relaxed. Put that on. Yeah. This is so cool. Weasel and the White Boys. Cool. Yeah. Great song titles. Yeah, this is a great album. Ricky Lee Jones. Another one I got into through that Saturday Night Live special. That Wayne and Garth special. Ricky Lee Jones was on Saturday Night Live. And I saw the clip. I'm like, oh, what's this song? He's playing Chucky's in Love. And then got into Ricky Lee Jones. I'm like, I like this. It's cool. It's jazz. Love it. And I'm going to end here with Tom Waits' Nighthawks at the Diner. I love this. I mean, Tom Waits is one of those guys. It took me to really get into Tom Waits. It took me a bit of a while, to really appreciate Tom Waits and jazz music in general. But I mean, Tom Waits, this album is just like, again, another one from that Saturday Night Live special. He was on Saturday Night Live, and he was doing the song "Eggs and Sausage." He's singing in that gruff Tom Waits voice, and it's like, I don't know if I like this, but I thought, it's so different. It's so cool. So, Eggs and Sausage is on this album. So I was like, have some familiarity with a song that I've heard.
Burgers and fries, now what kind of pie?
But yeah, this is great. This is like a live album of him just performing in a little bar. A little jazzy dive bar. He's talking in between the songs. He's making jokes. Really fun. And yeah, just absolutely love this album. There's Tom looking all cool in the back. There he is sitting in the diner. A Nighthawk himself in the diner, just contemplating life. About to go on stage. Yeah, just so good. Warm beer and cold women. Fantastic title. Yeah. Love me some Tom Waits and love me some jazz fusion. Just want to do a little show talking about some of the jazz music that I like, because I talk about heavy metal, I talk about punk, I talk about new wave, I talk about pop music on here. Let's quiet it down a little bit and talk about some jazz, because nothing can kind of get at least for me, get the creative juices flowing sometimes than putting on a good jazz album.
Jazz!
That's it for this week. Until we meet again, this is Brett Strong saying good journey.